Okay, so the 10-1 notes start off the chapter pretty easy. Okay, so the two formulas that you need to know for circles are the area formula and the circumference formulas. Okay, so it depends on, if the radius is given or the diameter is given. I typically always use 2 pi r. I don't know why. It just pops in my head faster than pi d. Okay. So 1 through 4 and 5 through 8. 1 through 4 area, 5 through 8 circumference. Okay. So let's talk about something right here with area. So area right here would be pi times the radius squared. So let's say it says leave in terms of pi or write in terms of pi. Okay, so leave, or let's say write in terms of pi. Okay, so if it says write it in terms of pi, you would just write 144 pi right there. You wouldn't multiply it out. Okay. If it says to the nearest tenth, that's when you're going to use pi in your calculator. Okay, so you need to pay attention to the directions. ACT, SAT, STAR testing, any sort of assessment, anything like that. Okay, so area equals pi times, this would be 9 squared right here because the radius is only halfway. So this would be 81 pi if left in terms of pi. But let's say, so I'm going to do 81 times pi on my calculator. Let's say it says to the nearest tenth. So I get 254.5. Okay, so A equals 254.5, and that would be inches squared because it's an area. Okay, and right here you could also do, meters squared right there because it's an area. Okay, so just pay attention to the directions. It doesn't say anything here, so you can do it either way you want to, or a little bit of both, I suppose. Okay, so circumference. Circumference, like for this one, I would use circumference equals 2 times pi times 7, and we could say 14 pi millimeters. Remember, circumference is not squared. Circumference is a distance around, so it's not a squared value. Let's say they give us the diameter right here, so I would do, I don't like to, but circumference equals pi times the diameter. Okay, but then I don't have to split that in half, right? So I'm going to do this one to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to do 10.2 times pi, and I get circumference equals 32 point, and it would be 0 right there because it doesn't round up, meters. Okay. So again, just pay attention to the directions. All right, so finding the radius or the diameter, if they give you the circumference or they give you the area, you can work backwards. Okay, so I need to find the diameter of a circle with a circumference of 65.97 meters. Okay, so you can either find the radius first, or you can go straight to diameter because we know circumference equals pi d. Okay, if this was me back in high school or junior high school, I would have probably done 2 pi r, found the radius, and then doubled it, but we don't need to do that. So circumference is fill in what you know. There you go. So our unknown is the d, diameter, which is what I'm looking for. Okay, so divide by pi. So diameter equals 65.97 divided by, you can hear me typing on my calculator. I got 20.99. Okay, so if this was rounding, so it was 20.99, I'm going to call it 21. 21.0, okay, to show that I rounded it. And it would be meters, because it is not squared. It's just a length. All right. So let's go ahead and do the back page. Okay. So let's go to number, which one did I star? Let's go to number 12. All right. Find the radius of a circle with an area of 380.13 square inches. All right. So we know we're doing area. Area equals pi r squared. So fill in what you know. 380.13 equals pi r squared. To get r by itself, we first have to divide by pi. So we've got r squared equals, let's divide that out. And actually, what we could actually do if we really wanted to get this right. So let me see, 380.13 divided by pi equals, okay, so, all right. So this right here actually works out to be 120.99999. Okay, so the answer key actually has this rounded. Okay, so what I want to show you is what we could actually do is do 380.13 divided by pi right here, because what I want to show is I don't want to round until the last step. So if I square root and I just square root that whole thing, let's see what we get for r. Okay, so I'm going to do the square root of 380.13 all underneath the radical divided by pi. So let me show you that. Can you guys see that? Okay, and then I'm going to hit enter. And it's still not perfectly 11, but it does round to 11. So I just wanted to see if I could get, all right, so I'm just going to say 11.0, and I did round it. Okay, all right, and that would be inches right there. Okay, so try not to round until the very last step, but you could do that without writing all that out. Okay, it says find the diameter of a circle with an area of 90.25. So let's write area equals pi r squared. We don't have diameter in the area formula. Let's fill in what we know. It says the area, so be careful on this one. It actually says the area is 90.25 pi. Okay, equals pi r squared. So be careful with that. They do have a pi in there. All right. So divide by pi, divide by pi. So radius squared equals, that cancels 90.25. And then you just have to take the square root of 90.25. So when I took the square root of 90.25, square root 90.25, I got 9.5. So radius equals 9.5 meters. Okay, so let's go down here. Down here, it's just basically you going to be going back and forth between formulas. Okay, and I think we could probably skip these questions. They're kind of, I don't know, they're similar. Let's do one so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's look at number 17. It says find the circumference of a circle with an area of 113.1. Okay, so I know the area is 113.1 inches squared. Okay, so how does that help me right now? So if I know, I could probably turn the lights back on. So if the area is that, and I'm trying to find the circumference, I actually have to do this first. I have to divide by pi, divide by pi. So 113.1 divided by pi. Okay, so I have r squared. So r squared, oh my gosh, it's almost 36. Let's just write 36. Okay, so it's 36.0008, okay, or 0008. All right, so square root, it's rounded, r equals 6. Okay, now that you know that radius equals 6, then you're going to bounce to circumference equals 2 pi r, and you're going to get 2 times pi times 6. So you get 12 pi, but since there's a decimal in the question, I'm assuming they want you to go to the nearest tenth. So 12 times pi would be, I got 37.7. So circumference equals 37.7, and it's just inches because it is just a length. Okay, so I want you guys to go ahead and try 10.1. Let's go ahead and do the entire thing. Okay, so we're going to do the entire thing, not odds or evens. We're going to do all. Okay, so 10.1, we're going to do all because there's some mixed questions in there. I don't want you to miss any. All right, good luck.